once you understand the root cause of why you do certain things, behaviors, actions, etc., making money becomes very, very easy. So let me explain. What is money to begin with? Like, how do we attain money? We transact. So money equals transactions. And what we transact is something we create via service, via physical product, via technology, via arbitrage. It doesn't matter what it is. We create something to transact in exchange for money. See, money is never created. It's always transacted. We're always receiving and getting money from other people, whether they're standalones or businesses, etc. That is the inherent cause and way of money. It's a transaction. And so we create something to transact. We create this, right? We can kind of all establish this, and we can go deeper on building out systems and things of that nature. But on a fundamental level, if you want to make money, you have to be able to transact. You have to have something of value to exchange for money. And so how do we create something to transact? We have to learn skill sets. We have to be valuable. We have to create something of value, right? Fundamentally, whether that's ourselves with our own knowledge or a product, we have to create value. And so this is value creation. And so let's just keep going deeper. How do we create value? We have to learn something. We have to spend time making mistakes, learning, iterating, creating that best product, creating that great service. It takes time. It takes sustained effort. It takes risk a lot of times. A lot of times it takes failing. And so these things take time, and they're emotionally hard and difficult and time consuming. And so this process of value creation is time consuming, stressful, long, all of those things, right? It takes time to be able to create value in the marketplace. And the more value we can create, which takes longer and longer, the more money we can make. And so for us to be able to do this, we need to be able to have certain character traits and certain behaviors that are very aligned with this. Our actions, our thoughts, and our words have to be aligned with the person that can sustain a lot of stress and a lot of time and create a ton of value to create it to transact. Very, very simply. And so if we are doing behaviors that are not this, we lose. And so the question becomes why? See, I could, or anybody can, look at you right now and say, if you do X for 3 years, you're going to make money. You're going to get richer. This is what you do. Do this every single day, and you will make money. So the question becomes, on a root cause level, why is this not being done for more people? Why are people not taking these actions, these simple steps? You can also include learning from others that have come before you. That's a great way to learn how to create value. But the question becomes why? Why are you not doing the things you should be doing? This is fundamental, and I think inherently everybody knows this is real. So the question becomes, what is the root cause behind a distinction in behavior, a distinction in action? Why? The root cause. Why is there a gap in behavior? And when we understand this and the root cause of it below the surface level, we can really change our lives. Because a lot of people are very ignorant to the root cause. For example, let's say you want to go into sales. Okay? Very simple. And I tell you, study and apply what you're learning in sales every day, 10 hours a day, and in a year, you'll probably 10x your income. But you don't do it. And so instead of those behaviors, and this is just an example, I'm not talking at you, instead of those behaviors of studying and applying and practicing, you're scrolling, you're watching TV, you're doing behaviors that aren't good for you, that do not make you money. Because we have established this is the way to make money, and anything else does not make you money. So you're doing a bunch of things that don't make money. And I say, why are you doing those things? Why are you doing them? You know exactly what to do. So why is there a gap? And most people might say, well, I don't know what to do. That's a big one. I don't know what to do. I don't have the time, this, that, or the other. And so they're coping and they're lying, right? You cope and you lie when you don't want to admit your own faults, but that's the only way to grow. And so we have to. It's very important that you do. And so when most people go to answer this question, or when they're confronted, they cope, they lie, excuses, because it's painful to take accountability. But when we start taking accountability, we actually are getting to the root cause, which is literally how you win. You have to understand your own behavior. You have to understand how your own mind works. And so this is going to be met, like I just mentioned, with lies, excuses, copes, to avoid accountability. And what's really important, and because this entire video is basically about awareness, is if you can start to develop awareness around these things, like why are you even doing and why are you even saying any of those things, is to avoid accountability. That's the root cause. Why are you avoiding accountability? You don't want to feel like a loser. You don't want to feel like you let me down. You don't want to feel these negative emotions that are associated with accountability. That is the root cause. And so let's say in this example, you understand that. And you say, you know what, I was making excuses, I was lying, I was trying to avoid accountability because honestly, like I just don't want to feel bad. Fair. We all do this, okay? But then it becomes, what is the root cause of the other behaviors you're doing, okay? We established that you're doing them, fine. There's no excuses, but why? Why are you scrolling? Why this, why that? And of course, this can come up, but let's say you're being really truthful. And so the real truthful answer behind your behavior of scrolling, of delaying, of procrastinating is fear, it's worry, it's doubt. You don't think that it's going to work. You're very scared that you're going to fail and look dumb. You're horrified that you don't deserve any success. I mean, these are very, very deeply rooted, ingrained in our soul that we need to get out. We have to get them out. But they're deep and they're from our childhood. And maybe your parents never had any faith in you. And so you have zero faith in yourself to execute when you put the time to it. And scrolling gives you that dopamine hit that your brain wants. And it just completely distracts you from the root cause. And you love that. You love that because it feels good in the moment. But feeling good in the moment ruins your life. It ruins your life. Because with every scroll, you're going farther and farther away from the actions needed to make money. That's why you don't have any. So when we unpack this, we're able to change behavior. Because you can say, okay, current bad behavior, we'll use a scrolling example. Current bad behavior is scrolling. Just for this example, I mean, there's so many, right? But let's just say scrolling, there's drinking, there's partying, whatever. Scrolling on phone equals time waster. So you're avoiding the work. And the root cause of you avoiding the work is something deep. It's something subconscious. It's something internal. And so we want to run through scenarios in our head where we think about what is happening in our lives. Why am I avoiding the work? You'd be surprised. When you ask yourself these questions, things just naturally come out. You don't got to worry about that. So ask yourself questions. Why am I avoiding the work? This is, by the way, it's uncomfortable. I understand. Doing this deep inner work, finding the root cause and having awareness of behavior, it's very uncomfortable. There's going to be a lot of things you see of yourself that you don't want to see. But this is how you win. Because if you could really clear these out and understand why you do certain behaviors, you can just move. Redirect energy. Make a ton of money. Change your life. Have a better life. Who knows? So ask yourself questions. Why am I doing these things? It'll be very easy to understand answers, right? You want to distract yourself. You want to feel good in the moment. Sure, I get it. You also have fear though. And that is where it's coming from. We must be moving fearlessly. And so the root cause of distraction and of feeling good in the moment and dopamine is because you're in avoidance. You're in avoidance, right? You're distracting yourself. Why are you in avoidance? When you understand why you're in avoidance of the work, you win. And so, why avoidance? And I'm going to give you some generic ones, and I kind of already have, and that might help you spark some reasons in your mind. But avoidance could be fear of failing. Could be zero faith. Could be doubt about success. And so you don't want to try something you're not going to win at. All of these things matter. All of these things are examples of really deeply caused root causes of your entire behavior, of your entire lifestyle, of why you treat people a certain way, of why you do certain actions, why you're addicted to things. Maybe, I don't know, you were never loved as a kid, and that's why you're addicted to drugs, because it makes you feel loved and warmed and euphoric. That's the uncomfortable work that everybody avoids, but it's the root cause of all your behavior. And if you can truly understand the root cause of your behavior, if you can truly understand why you're in avoidance, why you're doing certain things, why you won't do that one thing in your business that you know pretty much guaranteed is going to make you money, but you're avoiding it, why? We understand the root cause of all of this, we can expel it. When we get there and we say, you know what? It is the fear of failure. I am fearful that if I do this and I take action and I fail, I'll lose respect. I'll lose status. People won't like me. Girls won't like me, and vice versa. My parents will think my parents already think I'm dumb, right? Like you think of all these scenarios. But when you're in a fear state, you're thinking of things that aren't real, first off. When we're worrying and when we're doubting, we're thinking of things that aren't real. None of those things have happened. None of those things are real. It's an illusion. It's an illusion based on fear. So you have to understand something. When you're fearful, it's fake. It's not real. It's redirected faith towards the negative. These things aren't real, okay? Like, you haven't even tried yet, so they're not real. Relax. And think of it this way too. This really, really helped me take a ton of action, do the right behaviors. If you don't change, right? We're staring this in the face now. We've worked our way down. We're at the root cause. It's a fear of failure. We're staring this in the face. Do you want to let it win? And if it does win, what does that look like? And is it worth losing over? Is it worth letting fear of failure winning over you? Your life is never going to change. You're going to keep scrolling. You're going to be in the cycle forever. No change ever. You never get to see your potential. You never get to see if you do it. None of that over this. And that, again, it's not real. So you're going to let something that's not real win and beat you in the one life you have. I wouldn't, personally. But when you really play these things out, it's nothing. It's fake. It's fugazi. It's not real. Right? The only reason you have this programming in your mind in the first place is because how you were programmed growing up. You watch fearful shows and your parents talk to you a certain way and kids at school talk to you a certain way. And so this is hardwired in you. But it's not the way you need to live. You have to understand that. This is just being conditioned. It's not you. It's not you. It's your conditioning. Change your conditioning. That's the key. When you change your conditioning, when you expunge these fears, these negative emotions that are cloaking your entire behavior, you can do anything. You can do anything. And you can reprogram and recondition your mind with meditations, with asking yourself hard questions, with journaling, really getting to the root cause of things. And when you do that, when you recondition, you can condition your mind to take the specific actions. I mean, it's right there. Simple. Like that is the recipe. And you try and iterate, and like if it doesn't go as well, okay, cool, make a tweak. That's all you gotta do. But it starts here. It starts at a deeper level. It starts with why you haven't started the business after 5 years. Why you're stuck at a revenue plateau for 3 years. These things are deep. You're sabotaging yourself. When we develop awareness of this, we can change our behavior because we change our programming, because we condition our mind to think a different way, and it takes different actions, and we get a different result. Ta-da! And if you're a high-level entrepreneur, I work with them one-on-one. Check out the link below and some more free resources for you as well.